I was thinking about my story, where I'm at now, my present, and how I made a big leap forward in my life and looking over some past things that have taken place in my life with respect of my health and my happiness and my strength in Christ right now. So I was just thinking about my journey and my story and the particular blueprint that I had followed in recent years to help get me to where I'm at now, to where with respect to where I was yesterday. Thanks for joining me. This is Kevin over at jkjohnson.com, and you can find me all over the place. But I was just thinking about that because somebody had asked me the other day to kind of get more personal and kind of go through some things. So I had to actually sit down and think about, okay, what was the particular blueprint that I had followed, an outline of some things that specifically behaviors and actions that I had taken to help me make actually, this helped me make a big transition from immaturity to maturity, I guess you could say, it helped me level up in life, and it helped me really grow up and get to the next stage in my life as far as my spiritual walk, as far as my physical health, as far as how I think and how I feel, and the relationships that I now have in my life, and how I hold that to high priority, and then also how I hold just about every area of my humanness, every area of the human endeavor I hold and wield with better skills of stewardship with purpose than I did in the past. I really didn't think about a lot of stuff in the past. You just kind of just do. You know, you're taught one way, and you're kind of given a paradigm of how to live in this culture, in this life, in this world, in this society, especially looking at our Western society. So I kind of just with eyes wide shut, I guess you could say, just kind of followed along and looking at everybody else. Okay, so this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you do things. So this is what we're going to do. But with respect to my journey, and and I'll go into a little more detail about it and be a little more transparent, not all the way, but just a little more. Just looking at respect to my journey and how I made the transition of coming out of just following the patterns of this world and actually taking the reins and seeking to take more control and reins of my life in every which way I could and can possible as I learn and grow and get more understanding and distill best practices, or wisdom as it is called. That's the formula for wisdom, by the way, is to broaden your knowledge about something. So you gather facts, details, information, you aggregate it, and then what you do is you cultivate it, which means you seek to understand the information and seek to look for patterns and seek to look for information that tells stories. And then with that, you learn how to apply, you learn how to live it out, you learn how to use it in your life and in various ways, and that's known as wisdom. So wisdom, common sense, is to first gather facts, gather knowledge, and then you seek to understand over that knowledge, so that in your living, in your decision making, in your walking out, in your actions in your life, you overstand what you've understood and what you've gathered. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So that's the formula that I learned about. You'll hear it in with various other names too, like the trivium. They don't teach that in school anymore, but it's the same formula. It's something that isn't taught anymore and isn't well known today, but was definitely known back then, and is definitely a key to unlocking how you as a human being learns so many skills and learns things at a fast rate. We were designed by God, we were designed to learn quickly and to apply and to be able to change and to be able to be agile in our life with respect to some of the things that we know and do and how we live. We weren't designed to be in school to be schooled in the way that we're schooled today. And even looking at my children, I can see that with respect to public education, I can see that there's a big change that's taking place to help remedy this problem or this gap, this issue, this challenge that the school system and those teachers and those in positions of leadership are seen and have seen for a while now, especially with respect to Western society and American culture and modern history. So I didn't mean to go along that rabbit trail, but I'm gonna come back to all those other topics later. But today I'm just gonna focus on the blueprint that I followed, the specific blueprint that I followed on how you can make a big leap forward in just about every area of your humanness in your life, so that you can dominate and subjugate those areas of your life that has been deemed for you to cultivate, that area that you have inherited, that's been promised to you by the Creator, so that in which you are given a plot in your life to steward over. So each and every one of us, when we're born into this world, when we're born into this reality, we're all given a plot of land. And we're all given the skills and the ability necessary to cultivate that area in which we're to go, in which we're to stewardship until the Father returns, to see how we're doing, to reap a harvest from our stewardship. So you have to be healthy and happy and wealthy in just about every area that you can, in order to maximize your harvest that the Father has given you to cultivate in your life. As I'm talking, I'm starting to think about the talents when the parable of the talents, where the master gave 3 servants each a specific piece of money, and when he expected them to invest that for a harvest for when he comes back, and he was coming back to collect. He wasn't coming back for nothing less. You know, as they say in the old movies, where's my money? He wanted his servants to produce. So that's what the Father is doing. He's expecting you to produce. He's not expecting you to show up in service every week, laying in the seats, being a lay man or lay woman. He expects each and every one of us to be the ministers and be workers and be salt and light and do and go out and command and fight and battle and strive and stand and do all the things that we need to do in order to maintain and grow our plot. So that requires many hats. That requires many skills, and that requires the ability to learn and to grow and to adjust, and it requires a whole lot of stuff. So, I'm gonna come back to the subject, the blueprint. Okay, what is the specific? Well, let me go into my story real quick. Well, you may not know that I haven't always been like this, and I haven't always been articulate, and haven't always been one to get in front of a microphone. Actually, I'm still not one to do that. It's just that it's part of my calling that satiates my soul. That's why I do this. This is not a career that feeds the belly, but it's a calling that satiates my soul and it fulfills me. It makes me satisfied. It fulfills my emotions, my mind. It satisfies my spiritual emptiness. It satisfies my soul. It satisfies every area of my life. So it's important. Well, I just mentioned calling and career. It's important that we know the difference between our calling and career. A career puts food on the table, and a calling puts food in the soul. As I heard somebody say, feed the soul. So, I haven't always been like this. In my mid to late 20s, I had a run-in. I got sick and had a run-in with Graves' disease. If you don't know anything about Graves' disease, it's where your thyroid is hyperactive. So a lot of people deal with thyroid issues and that it's hypo, which means it's your metabolism slows down. Well, mine sped up, extremely up, and people say, well, that sounds like a good thing. Well, believe me, the symptoms of having a hyperactive, untreated thyroid led to a lot of misery, so to speak. So in my mid to late 20s, I went through a few months of just straight misery, in which I felt symptoms like extreme fatigue. I was always sleeping. I could literally sleep for days on end and wake up and still be tired, I would not feel refreshed. And I would try to, after sleeping, I would try to get up, move around, and, get the body going, get the juices flowing, and it just wasn't happening. I'd just be tired, want to go back to sleep. I couldn't hold food. Now, some people, when they first heard it, it's like, man, that sounds pretty good. I was like, no, it's horrible, because think about having extreme hunger pains, but not being able to satiate those hunger pains with food. You couldn't keep it down. You couldn't keep it in. You couldn't just hold on to it. You couldn't eat, but you was hungry. So that was a miserable state to be in, to be fatigued, constantly hungry, wanting to eat, but when you ate, you couldn't keep it. I mean, literally, you couldn't keep it for a few minutes. So I just couldn't eat. I could just barely drink a little bit, maybe nibble on something, and just hope for the best. That's how I got through. Emotionally, I dealt with depression. When you sleep a lot, you're tired. Of course, you're going to get depressed. You're not in the sun. You're not out doing things out and about. You're not feeling very energetic. I was anxious, which means I never was to be anxious means to be unresolved. It means that you're just kind of fidgety, and you're not really at a resolution about anything. You're just on edge, kind of like a chihuahua. You know what I'm saying? It's just they look like they just on edge. Anxious. I couldn't think clearly. This is the term that is often used for this. It's brain fog is the term it's usually used for that. In that there was kind of a haze over me thinking and my thoughts, and it's amazing how now, thinking more clearly and seeing things more clearly, on that haze even being there. And now when I look at other people, I can definitely see that a lot of people are operating not real clearly. They have a little haze in which they're not really thinking. Things aren't functioning to the optimal level that we were designed to think to. They're in a quasi dream state, to put it in another fashion, but and worried a lot. I worried a lot going through this, and just really, you think about, well, how is this going to get paid for? Who's going to do this, that, and the other? How's this going to affect my relationships? And because at the time I was with my now ex-wife, but you start to think about. I was thinking about those things. And then I was dealing with arthritis in my joints and key areas of my body. My upper neck. it hurt. I mean, you could literally, I could not turn my neck maybe a few degrees in each angle or each side, turn towards each side just for a little bit, and I can hear the grinding in my neck, and I can feel it. So I really couldn't sleep well. I would wake up with a hurt neck. I couldn't run around and do the things that I normally did. My knees hurt, my shoulders hurt. I'm talking about extreme sharp pain to where you really don't want to move around a lot. You literally feel like the Tin Man, I guess, not really lubricated, not really loose. It's just like, well, if I can move a few degrees this way or that way, then I'm good, type deal. My hair started to thin and become brittle. I could feel my skin was getting a little alligatory, kind of rough. I forgot the names for some of these conditions and symptoms. You could see deep, dark circles under my eyes. They began to sink in and droop. At the same time, my eyes would kind of protrude out, which was not the normal state of my eyes. Extreme weight loss. I went from being like 196, having a waist of maybe a 36-inch down to maybe 32-inch waist and weighing about 150 pounds. And again, people think it's a good thing, but it's not when it happens fast and and you lose muscle mass and you just look like a crackhead. That's what my sister said. They said I look like a crackhead. So there you go. That's what happened. And didn't want to be around a lot of people a lot. I was already shy and I'm already introvert, but it really like pushed me over the edge as far as like not really wanting to be around people. If you don't feel good, you don't want to be around people. You want to kind of just endure the pain and get through it a lot. I'd say a majority of people are like this. Some people aren't, but that's how I was. This is what I went through. I'm just giving you some details as to my journey, and I didn't feel good, like I said, and then I placed strain on my finances, and then at the time my marriage and family life, and then at the time I also had my firstborn and going through treatment and stuff. I couldn't really be around him because of the radiation that they had given me a radiation pill with radiated iodine, I believe, so it would soak up, so my thyroid would soak it up, and it would kill off half my thyroid. I think that's what they said. So I really couldn't be around people in the first place. I couldn't go to work. I couldn't be in so many feet or contact with my newborn because of that, because of the radiation and the side effects of the treatment that was given to my diagnosis. So this just giving you a little backstory on a recent sickness that after I came out of it stronger, and the blueprint I followed to help me make a big leap forward that not only helped me physically, but it, surprisingly, it had other effects on my life too, in my spiritual walk. It affected my mental health. It affected my emotional life, my heart life. It affected my attitude. It affected my relationships and how I looked at them and held them to high priority. It affected my wallet and what I saw as being most important as far as finances and what I would seek to do with respect to my career and calling. It affected just about every area of my life, surprisingly, and I was just looking at just the physical part. But so that's what happened, and I'll give you this. When I went to the doctor, and I was first diagnosed with this, and the first time I went to the doctor, I just accepted what they gave me and kind of really didn't ask a lot of questions. But there was a second time I went for something else that I was dealing with, and this particular doctor had given me a diagnosis and stuff, and something clicked in me. All the training and my upbringing with respect to my Christian background had kicked in, and I paid attention to it. And when this doctor gave me a diagnosis, in my mind, I refused it. I said, I'm not going to claim it. I may be exhibiting some symptoms right now, and I'm going to follow his recommendations, and I'm going to follow his advice, and I'm going to follow his regimen. But this time around, I'm going to do my best to seek and take my health and happiness into my own hands and learn and do what I can to be more proactive and not reactive in my life. So this is the journey. This is the blueprint that I follow, that I learned about from at the time I had a job. I had a position in which I drove a box truck around town, around the Central Kentucky area, delivering goods and services to other businesses. So I had a delivery business to businesses, and because I was in the truck for pretty much 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day, I had a lot of time. And what I started to do was I started to take that time to stream YouTube videos through my phone. So I would listen to YouTube. I would listen to documentaries on YouTube. I would listen to interviews with scientists and researchers and journalists and quote unquote experts in different industries. I would listen to documentaries. I would listen to interviews. Like I said, I would listen to audio books. I would listen to good music. I would listen to sermons. Just about anything I can get my hands on, I would listen to hours on end. I would listen to online courses about different subjects related to health, and then it spilled over into other stuff. But just think about it. Think about taking 3 or 4 years of your life and every day for 12 hours straight, every day, 7 days a week. Even when I wasn't on my job, I was doing this, even at home. Just think, 7 days straight, 10 hours, 12 hours a day, every day, listening, writing, contemplating, thinking, meditating, absorbing, just doing whatever you can take to find some information so that you can help in seeking understanding with that information, so you can apply it to your life, that will help you live better today than you did yesterday and help forge a brighter future for you. So that's what I did in this position that I had. And the blueprint that I came about, a real simple blueprint that I just, decided I was going to follow, was by a guy by the name of Jordan Rubin. And he wrote the book. He's written a number of books. He started a number of companies, billion-dollar companies actually, and he's done a couple of things. But this one book gave me a simple blueprint that I said, okay, I'm gonna try this and see what happens. And it comes from a biblical perspective, which is why it really spoke to me and it really resonated with me at the time. And it was just what I needed. So here's the blueprint, and then maybe in some other shows I'll go even further into detail about the blueprint. But number one, I'm not going to give you the blueprint the way he does it in the book, but I'll give you the modified version that I still hold to today. Eat good food, good clean food, and what that means is getting as much processed and refined food out of your diet as you possibly can. And one simple practice that helped me do this was I found a food list. There's plenty of food lists on the internet, so you can find them. One in particular that I still recommend to people is by a guy by the name of Dr. Axe, and then you can find this food list at draxe.com. It's the Healing Foods Diet food list, and it's just a little simple PDF, and if you go to a site and research it and look for it, you'll find it. And it's a 2-page PDF of foods that if you just focused on eating off of that list for about 2 weeks,
you will notice changes in your life, in your physical body on outward. And that's what I did. And actually, Dr. Axe had and has a number of videos and podcasts and stuff. He's one of the guys I used to listen to. And after listening to him for a while, I said, well, let me try this and see what happens. And that's what I did. And so just number one, eat clean food. Number two, supplement with whole foods. So supplements, the foundational four: vitamin D3, a greens powder, a multivitamin, and fish oil. I got this from draxe.com, but also the principle of using food as food insurance to help fill in the gaps in which your diet is missing. I got that principle from Jordan Rubin, which is a biblical principle. You'll find a number of verses in the Bible talking about leaves and essential oils and herbs and things that are used to help heal the body and help supplement the body when the body needs some things remedied in it. And so that's number two. Number three is exercise. I began to do at least 2 to 3 days a week of resistance exercise. That means picking up weight and having the weight and doing movements against that weight. That is the quickest way to help bring in your body. And I'm telling you, this is just not talking about physically, but all the other areas of your body too. Will help bring all the other areas of your body into harmony, shalom or peace, into alignment. So I exercised and I reduced how much cardio workouts I did. A lot of times I just did body weight exercises, and the foundational 4 body weight exercises, I just did that for a while. And the foundational 4 exercises are push-ups, pull-ups, planks, and squats. Four simple exercises that anybody can do anywhere at any time, with weight or without weight, that will help you maintain a functional and fit body, soul, and spirit. So this will help you be functionally fit, and over the course of time, maybe if I remember, we'll go into the science that backs up a lot of this. But you know what? I ain't gonna worry about it right now. Exercise. And then number 4 is to reduce toxins or toxicity in your environment in every way that you possibly can. Now, this isn't going to be something that you can do 100%, because the culture, the world in which we live is satiated. It's saturated with so much toxins, all the way from your water to your cooking utensils to your hygienic care products, your health and beauty products. There's so much stuff that's in our environment, but you want to do is seek to make it a priority to reduce these things in your life, to help mitigate and help keep these things under control. Your body can take a lot, so you want to help your body in taking as much as it possibly can by reducing toxins in your environment. And what this looked like for me was I switched a lot of my health and beauty products to maybe just a few natural products. One in particular, just as an example, is that I started using coconut oil for a lot of stuff, shea butter, avocado oil, avocados. Let me see what else you'll find. African black soap. Let's see, jojoba oil, olive oil. All these things you'll find me using. Activated charcoal. I started using bamboo and glass utensils, stainless steel utensils. I started finding like natural products, natural things to cook with, clean with, place on my body with, trying to use 100% cotton and linen and wool and materials like that are designed to help your body breathe and designed to work with the natural rhythms of your body, designed to work with your body and doesn't hinder or work against the natural state and inclinations of your body by design. So that's reduced toxicity. Number 5, to become more proactive about your health in general and learn about different health practices and learn about how to just do what we already do, but do it better. For example, I learned about sleep and how a large portion of the U.S. population does not sleep properly, which is causing a whole host of issues. But I learned about being very proactive about my sleep and trying to stay in alignment with the natural rhythms and cycles of the earth and in this world that we live in, looking at some patterns and things. And I really became into a deeper understanding about this when I learned about the circadian rhythm, the cycle of the sun, and how it's important, or you want one of the goals you want to try to seek after is to get to bed maybe an hour after the sun goes down and rise maybe an hour before the sun rises up, which is a simple practice or something to seek towards. You may not always hit that goal, but it's just an example of what I mean when I talk about sleep and being proactive about sleep instead of just doing whatever, falling into a pattern. But taking sleep seriously and not taking it for granted, so to speak. Chiropractic care. I started going to the chiropractor and started taking the alignment of my back very seriously, in that I was having issues with my back. And I noticed that after a couple of treatments that really, I noticed how important posture was. And I noticed how I breathed differently and how I walked differently and how that not only affected my physical health, but it affected every other area of my life. People even looked at me differently. I radiated differently. I attracted people differently. It's amazing how every area is interwoven and interconnected. Everything is connected in this world. If we all emanate from the infinite creator, every point, every node, every nodule along infinity is connected in some way, shape, or form. It's just, it's not always obvious. So, which requires contemplation. It requires meditation. It requires us to spend time with the Creator in order to understand these nodes and how they all interconnect, right? It requires time. You have to take time to spend time with the deep. The deep, as they say. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking about Genesis, where it talks about God moved upon the waters of the deep, and then I'm also thinking about, where is that? In one particular, Abyssos, where you will find where Satan will be cast into the bottomless pit. And the word there, the bottomless pit, is abyssos. I think it is the deep darkness. So if you want to be connected to the deep, you got to spend some time going deep, right? And that takes some contemplation. It takes much time and meditation. So just being proactive. Again, health, just general care. I took it seriously going to the barber, actually, believe it or not. Going to the barber and actually having the barber actually take care. Having the ability to receive care is a very good proactive practice to do. I know people really don't think about it that way, but it's really a good practice to cultivate over time. Females are really in tune to this with respect to going to the getting their hair and their nails done and getting massages and stuff like that. Having the ability to receive taking touch more seriously, hugging people, being proactive about handshaking and getting close to people, even though it's actually with relationship to me, it goes against my nature. It's not my nature to touch and hug and do these things, but I have to think about it and force myself to do it sometimes. And it has a lot of beneficial effects. And number 6, relationships. Look at your relationships and make it a priority to place into your circle of friends people that are for your good, who will pray for you, who will help give you strength and lift you up, inspire and motivate you when you're down, and help correct and criticize, give you feedback when you need it in a loving manner. So it doesn't mean you just cut negative or haters out of your life completely, because you need them too to help keep you sharp, help keep you honed, help keep you honest and with integrity, and to help keep you in shape. But you want to mitigate your time with them, and you want to increase your time with others, looking at all your relationships, even just looking at your familial relationships with your mom and dad, and then with your children. You want to look at all of this. So more time with good people and just looking at relationships in general. And then number seven, knowing your purpose, and then talking with the Creator daily, seeking His face daily, placing your trust and your belief in Him daily for your rescue, for your salvation. That's the list. This is the outline. This is the blueprint that I really became conscious to follow and pursue and hone in my life, to help me make and continually helps me level up in my life and make those big changes. Perhaps in future shows, you'll let me know on how deep you want me to go into each and every one of these areas. And actually, I can give an even more exhaustive, I can give an even longer list on some of this stuff and that I do now. But this is the basics. What I have given you today, the blueprint, this is the basics that I learned about, and that has helped set some principles before me to help gather knowledge about, and to help deepen my understanding about, increase my understanding about, so that I can learn and grow and apply and overstand in my decision-making processes in my life. So this is Kevin over at jkjohnson.com. If this has added any value to your life, please do not be shy to share or get a comment to some way, shape, or form to me to let me know that you're out there, and to just let me know this has added value, and let me know what you would like to hear more of. So thanks for joining me. I look forward to talking to you all soon. May His face shine on you and give you peace.